Sometimes you have to do that because the easy challenge is one you'll get lazy with. The big challenge gets you hungry.
Oh, how the tables turn.
That's a heavy topic, and we need to focus on that. If not for yourself, then do it for your children.
Black book is in black.
Black
book.
Men Talk, Black Book. What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers. It's sponsored by Men Plus Care. And being part of that movement, our team, or the team I'm part of, our team, the team has reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers. And as we're coming to the end of 2025, I'm speaking that by the end of this year or early next year, I will say it's now 500,000. So as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem, and welcoming you to Black Men Can Talk, a show where Black Canadian men come together to have real, unfiltered conversations about life, culture, and community, and hanging out with one of my co-hosts, one of my compadres, Kofi Sadat. What is up?
I am good this weekend. Beautiful Sunday. It doesn't even feel like winter, so it's all good. I'm doing well. And how are you doing, family?
Let's keep that away as much as possible, please, and thank you. I guess it's warm enough to rake leaves, in my case, anyways.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
100%. So let's kick it off as we always do. Share us a win.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for that. Again, things sometimes are bittersweet in life. As I mentioned before, rest in power, a young man that I had worked with from his teenage days. He's now in his early 30s. So he's transitioned recently, about 2 weeks now. We had a celebration of life for him, the family and the community. And, it was just a beautiful occasion, to be honest with you. His mother came out. This is a young man that, he had given from teenage days. He had used his music as a medium for bringing together, young people, community, and empowering them to do positive things in life. So I want to give a shout out to Jay Legit, my boy, rest in power. But yeah, we came together last Thursday. We broke bread, we had laughs, we had music, we reflected, and it was just beautiful to see that he was as celebrated in transition or death as he was in life. So that was a win. It was just great to see how it all came together. I want to give a shout out to my younger brother, Rites of Passage, brother Matthew. I want also my Rites of Passage sister Tanika, a new friend by the name of Joanne, brother Finch from the Palmer Court area. And those are some of the people who helped to put it together, but everybody who showed up, I just got to give the love. So that was a win, really a win this week. What about yourself, brother? How are you doing? And what's your win for the week?
I had a number of them. I guess one of them I'll share just recently. I was in the presence of a gentleman who I met a few weeks ago, and we started having some conversations. He's 81 years old. Doesn't look like it. Carries on strong. And the last time we talked, he said he's in the process of writing a book. And I told him, well, I want the first autographed copy of that book.
Of course.
And so I saw him today. He said, so how's that book coming? He says, it's coming okay. I said, what else are you working on? I said, he says he's also working on a sermon so he can give it at a church, do a sermon.
Oh, nice. I like that.
I said, that is amazing. I said, I want to be there when you give that sermon. Now, he lives in Belleville, which is for you and I a little bit of a drive. They said, well, I live in Belleville. I don't matter.
Yeah.
And I said to him, you have value. You matter. And I want to be there. And he started to cry.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. It's
He
you know, that's
started to
it.
cry, and
Presence is important. Presence is important, you know.
it was such a beautiful moment, and just him just wiping the tears away from his eyes and say, you know what? I'm the same way as I go along in my journey. I cry in moments of happiness more than like I just let it out because it's just so overjoyed and overwhelming in a good way
In a good way,
to
yes.
come out. So it was a beautiful moment to share with him, and we just had a really, really nice time. It was a really
Appreciate
nice time. And then on Thursday, some people may be old enough to remember a magazine called Black Enterprise magazine.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember.
All right. So long story short, they now call themselves Black Enterprise because they don't do traditional like magazine anymore.
Yeah.
They've gone all digital. And they actually had an event here in Toronto on Thursday that I went to. It was
Mm.
very interesting. And earlier on in the week, I had the opportunity to interview their senior vice president executive director, who's been with them for 37 years.
Wow.
And I had a wonderful, humbling moment when I made it intently for us to have a conversation a few days before the live show, so we could just acquaint each other with each other. And he came on the phone, and I said, "Well, you know what? Do I have your permission to share a little bit about myself?" He goes, "Oh no, Dr. Vibe, you don't have to tell me about you. I've been following you for a while.
I know who
Sure,
you are.
I know who you are." I go, "Oh, am I on a most wanted poster somewhere in the United States or something?" But no, we had a great live conversation. Then after we did the live show, we stayed on for another hour. And this gentleman's 65 years old. He's a professional bodybuilder, and he has won all his awards in bodybuilding after the age of 50.
Wow.
So we had a
Wow.
great conversation. And then Black Enterprise for the last 9 years has had an annual event for Black men called Black Men Excel. And he has extended an invitation for me to come, I don't know, maybe share at it or be part of next year's edition in Florida.
Oh, nice. Nice. You got to get that passport ready, brother.
Well, I've said to myself, I don't know if I want to travel down to the United States, but for our brothers, I
Yes.
will, if it all comes through, I will do that. I actually have to send Mr. Alfred E. Edmonds Jr. Actually, before I finish time, I'm going to send him a video message because we want to continue the conversation. We had a really good conversation after all that, but it's a really nice time.
So are you going to share any of that content on your other shows?
Well, no, the replay of my conversation with Alfred Edmonds is up. It's up.
Okay, so it's on the Dr. Vibe.
It's on the Dr. Vibe Show
Okay.
YouTube channel. Yeah, it's there.
Okay.
I had a good hour with him, and we spent a lot of time. The conversation title was "Health is Currency."
Okay, health is currency. Okay, I will
And
look for it.
So we relayed the conversation of health as currency, not only currency with your physical health, your mental health. If you have your health, it also will allow you to increase your monetary worth, etc.
Right.
So we had a multifaceted approach on that conversation.
All right, love it, love it, love
So
it.
it was a good time. It was a good time.
All right, I
But
love it.
anything else you want to share before we go to break?
No, I'm good, man. I'm just happy, excited about our guests about to come on as well. I'm happy to always be sharing the space weekly with my brother, Dr. Vibe and Kofi. We know you're out there doing the good work this weekend. I know you're working with some young people in the Durham part of the city on doing a nice retreat. So, we wish you well. And hopefully you're tuning in and you're safe with your family. But yeah, it's all good, man. I'm just excited
Love it.
to be here.
All right, let's go for a very, very quick break. And when we come back, we're going to do some housekeeping, and then we're going to introduce another new friend to you all, to myself and Kofi Sadat. He's not a new friend, but it's been a while since I've seen him because he's just doing the miles, man. He's doing the miles. He's doing the miles and enlightening, empowering, entertaining young people across this country. So we'll be back in a quick moment.
Yo, you tuned and grab a seat. Hear the brothers talk. Heart on the sleeve, no filter when we let it off.
Locked in the boardroom, we bridging it all. Stories of the North told proud and
You
raw.
are watching BLKMEN Can Talk.
There we go. Short and sweet to the point. Black men can talk. All right, so let's get some housekeeping out of the way. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. I know many people watch us, but do you subscribe to the platform that you're watching us on? I'm just asking. Just asking. Also follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky and Substack. And also, if you want to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms I'm a part of, please feel free to email me dr.vibe, the dr, VIBESHOW.com. And also, if you've got a question for either ourselves or our friend that's coming on, you can ask us in real time. All you need to do is, whether it's on a digital device like your phone or a traditional device, I don't know, traditional laptop, desktop, tablet, whatever. You go to callme.road.com and use the code FSPL8L. You'll go to another screen. Just make sure your automatic mic gain is turned on and put in your name and hit join conversation. Actually, next show, I'll actually show a video on how to do that. I did complete the video. I've been promising myself forever and ever, and you all.
We're waiting.
There's a video now that explains it.
All right. We're waiting for the video.
All right. Would you like to introduce our friend?
Why not? All right. Is he up?
He's ready to go once you give him the give him the introduction.
All right. So we want to welcome our brother and friend and great leader in the community, as well as an author, a speaker. Jeff Martin spent over 20 years as a police officer and investigator, witnessing firsthand the struggles and the battles that people face. Now he travels around the country. Can't wait to ask him about the various places he's traveled to, empowering students, leaders, community as a whole, talking about equity, mental health, emotional, and as well doing so much work with our young men I've seen throughout community. So without further ado, please welcome Jeff A.D. Martin. Mr. Martin, are you here?
He's in the house. There he is. Mr. Martin.
Are you
How
good,
you doing?
Can you hear us? I know you're having a little internet problems. He's probably somewhere far like Alaska or whatnot.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on, Kings? Hope everyone's doing well. I'm excited to be here. Yeah, let's go.
Okay, let's do a proper do this. All right. Proper. There we go. Mr. Martin, how have you and your family been?
Man, things have been great. The family's been doing well. My wife is striving. The kids are striving. I'm continuing to. The work just continues. There's lots of work to be done. So I'm tired, but I'm hopeful, and I'm excited to be here and get a chance to again have a deep conversation with kings like yourselves who are doing the great work yourselves.
Ashe, and I'm glad I know that you're living that balanced life, because when I last saw you, we were at a Carlos Morgan / Luther Vandross concert. Great to see, that you were out there and enjoying the concert as well, right? So we always need that balance. We promote that balance when it comes to brotherhood, right? With Black
yeah, that's right.
Real. All right. So definitely, myself.
I apologize. I'm not sure what's happening with my internet right now. It shows this moment when it counts to be acting up, but I'm hoping it's going to start to flow in a bit.
All right. No worries. You know what? One of the things that we advise that maybe if you take your video down for a second, you might have a little bit more clarity. It might be a little bit clear. You can try that for a minute.
Yeah, let's try that.
Yeah, see if that works for you. And we all want to see your handsome face, so hopefully that'll come back. All right. Can you hear us any better?
Yeah, we'll give that a try. I do apologize for your watchers, for your listeners. In technology, you know how it goes sometimes.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes, brother. I was just saying, for those who are not familiar with Jeff Martin, once you give us a little synopsis of who you are, and yeah, how you came into this work.
Yeah, so I'll give you a real quick snapshot. I'm just somebody who just wants to make a difference in our community. I really want to make an impact in our community. Going back many years ago, I had a cousin who was murdered downtown Toronto, and it was a struggle for me because I'm a kid who came from the hood, right? I came from situations where all I knew was revenge, and I wanted to go out there and find the people who were responsible for killing my cousin. I want to go out there and have their family feel the exact same pain that I was feeling. Reminded me of, number one, how difficult that situation was, but really reminded me that in every situation, you still have control. And I remember that situation in my cousin's life. And I realized in some deep thinking, recognize that I can use that energy that I had, and I can decision that I was going to go out there and make an impact specifically in our community. And so that's what I did. And so I started knocking on doors and talking to schools and asking them if I can come in and speak to the young people, because I really want to remind the young people that they have power. They have the ability to choose. They don't have to be a drug dealer. They don't have to drop out of school. Our young remind them that there is so much started. I started to go to some of our really difficult schools, knocking on their doors, going and talking to their young people. And then from there, it just grew and grew. And now I have the opportunity to be speaking all throughout Canada, some work in the US. Last summer, I was in London, England, and just speaking to young people, speaking life into our people, and just really, again, reminding them of their value and of their worth. And it's just amazing how things can result. You come from a situation where things are difficult, and I'm going through turmoil and losing my cousin, especially to gun violence, being shot and killed. And that brewed something within me. It brewed the feeling of revenge. But it turned out that I was able to use that same energy, not to get revenge, but to go out there and to make an impact in our community. And that's what I've been doing for the last while, man. So I've been blessed to do this work.
Shay. I mean, what I find interesting is how common that story is around as, I guess, older Black men, younger Black men, and the community around violence, being a catalyst for change, right? So I'm interested to know, and I'm, of course, your story is a beautiful story, and I like the way you turned it around. But if there are any young people struggling with that same thing, where maybe somebody in their family or a friend might have been impacted negatively by violence, and they're struggling with, hey, I want to take revenge, or I don't know what to do with that. What kind of advice would you give to a young person who might be struggling in that space right now?
Yeah, that is a great question. And it's such a difficult situation for someone to go through. And let me just cross. Again, that's a very, very important question, because there's a lot of people who are struggling. There's a lot of people, especially if you're coming from a different You're going to have a lot of police presence in a negative way. That's a difficult situation to be in. But I just want to remind people of their power, as I was reminded of my power, meaning that, yes, you can go out there and seek revenge. You can go out there and, do something to be, because, something happened to a friend of yours or one of your brothers. And that's something that often happens. Use that same energy to go out there to make that impact. There's so much that you can do when you make that decision that I'm going to be a community leader and not go out there and be another person who just, becomes another statistic. There is so much impact that you can make that really goes beyond your own thinking and really beyond your own lifetime. And so I just want to remind any young person, any old person, no matter who it is, who is struggling with that same thing. I just want to remind you that there's something within you, there's something powerful within you that you can do to really make an impact. Listen, there's nothing I could do to bring my cousin back. There's nothing that's out there that exists today in our world that can bring back someone who's passed. My cousin will never come back. But with that same energy, perhaps I can save that next young person.
I love it.
Perhaps the next book I write can help somebody realize their own value and their worth. Remind anyone who something that really literally can go beyond your lifetime. And that's what I want to remind people about who might be struggling, very similar to how I was struggling.
Okay, Dr. Vibe, do you have a question? I do have another question, but you can go ahead.
Yeah, so Jeff, as always, it's a pleasure to have you on the platform. I have a question for you. What was, or when was the moment you realized as a Black man that your words had power for young people?
Ooh, man, that's a great question. I would say that I realized the power of the Black voice. Let me start there. The power of Black voice when I was extremely young and I'm trying to get my parents' attention. I could have fallen down and go, it doesn't matter. This man came on TV, this man as Dr. Martin Luther King. As soon as he came on TV, he grabbed my parents' attention and they would not let go. They would not take their eyes off TV. And he was done his speech or whatever it is that they were showing. I realized the power of the Black voice through Martin Luther King. And growing up, I would see the power of Black individuals by, just again, being in the tough neighborhoods and seeing the people who had the power. And that was the drug dealers. That was the gangbangers. But I knew their voice was important because people listened. At that point, I didn't have my own voice, so to speak. We all have a voice, but I didn't find my voice, so to speak. At that moment, it was, again, going through that situation, who was kind of quiet. I kind of stayed in the back. That's who I've always kind of been. I realized the importance of speaking out. Because those who are loud, those who are able to speak from the rooftop, so to speak, sometimes they're not speaking and sharing the right messages that our young people need to hear. So I realized that my voice mattered, that the things I had to say mattered, that I can make an impact by just opening my lips and speaking. I can make an impact by just being in the space. I got to tell you, I've been out to so many schools and I go out there and I realize sometimes I walk through the door and as a Black attention. So when I walk in now and I use my voice to try to make an impact, I realize that, yeah, I can make an impact. I can really do something with this because people need to hear it. People need to know that they're worthy. People make mistakes. People need to know that they can make an impact that nobody else can. Only they can do it. And I want to just remind them of that, continue to share that positive message.
Back to you, Paul.
So my mic is muted. Yeah. So definitely, it's important. The catalyst of the show really is to amplify the voices of Black men in terms of speaking. So I'm glad you had mentioned that as well. So I know you've had lots of opportunity to travel. What are some of the more interesting places that you've been able to travel to and connect with either students or other leaders? Like, what would you say is an interesting place outside of Toronto, of course? Hello, are you there?
Okay.
I know. So our guest is having a little bit of challenge with their audio today.
So what we'll do is we'll take him off for just a moment,
All right, no
and
worries.
we'll see if we can get him back on momentarily. Apologize for the technical difficulties that is happening, but yeah, Jeff is someone that both Kofi and myself have known for a long time, and realized that part of his journey, he quit being part of a police force
Yes.
to become a full-time speaker specifically for young people. I think we've got him back now. I think.
Do we have you back?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Jeff, what I'm going to suggest is for you to just turn off your camera. Yeah, if you can turn off your camera, at least if we get you at least audio-wise, that would be good, because it looks like your internet connection is not the greatest at the moment.
Again, I do apologize for this internet
problem.
connection. I'm not sure what's happening. It doesn't usually do this.
no worries.
Okay.
Technology,
All right.
man.
So
Technology. So yeah, we're saying if you just go off screen and just do audio as opposed to the video, it might because the most important thing, we have to hear you, right? Or you have to hear us. So maybe come off screen.
oh, we lost him again. Unfortunately, no worries. It's okay.
Hey,
That's
it's
okay.
all part of it. It's all part of it.
So, you know what? While Jeff is figuring that out, it gives us an opportunity for us to. We've shared his contact information on the comments platforms on most of the platforms you're watching this live on the replay. But why don't we do him correct justice? And here is Jeff's website, as you can see, in front of many, many, many young people. Right. So he's a speaker, an author, a coach. I knew him a number of years ago, and also him and a group of Black men wrote a Black men's anthology together, which was excellently done. And I haven't seen him much then, but I know just whenever I go on social media, he's always out there sharing with young people. And we're speaking that he comes back, want to know, and I can tell from some of his backstory why, what is the state of young people, because he's right on the front lines.
Sure.
And as you can see by his picture, he communicates with young people of all different backgrounds.
Yeah, and I'm seeing him in the schools, as I mentioned. He's even spoke at the schools that my my children have attended too. So it's great to see that. I know he's out there on the front line, and I like what he was saying before about just the presence of having a Black man in the hallways. Whether he's a teacher or not, but to see him in those spaces, I've often seen. In particular, even though he does speak to everybody, because he's a speaker, but a lot of times, we don't see a lot of Black men in the schools, so it's wonderful that he could actually be there. And I know he's trying to come back in, so let's see if we get that going. Other than that, but yeah, I mean, I would just put it out there. I think it's important that not just, of course, our brother, Mr. Martin is out there having presence in arenas and venues that you usually don't see us, but other Black men, I think it's important that we also take up that challenge, right? And we're able to do that as well. So, we can do that.
All right.
Okay, you can hear us. You're back. Are you able to hear us, Jeff? We can see that you're present here in the space, but I'm not sure if you can hear us at all.
Okay.
Can you fellas hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think, if you I think just keep your camera off will probably be the best.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to say the question again. You let me know if you're hearing it, but I was just saying that I know you've had the opportunity to speak both nationally and internationally. As you mentioned, you've gone to the UK, you've gone in the States. Are there any particular places that you found interesting and speaking to that particular community? Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's challenging too because he's saying in our chat here that he's hardwired and he's having difficulty with his internet, which shouldn't really happen if you're having a direct connection to the internet.
Maybe he's in another space. So I would say probably this. I mean, it might be difficult for the listeners as well, but maybe what we do is I can connect with him and maybe kind of reschedule that we can have a more full conversation.
Yeah,
I think
that sounds like a great idea. It's that, because even him coming on now, we may not get the best of him.
Right. So I'll let him know that we'll reschedule. Because again, we don't want to do a disservice to,
we want to present him fully and properly.
Right, for sure.
Which makes the most amount of sense. So, all right, so we got some chance to chat it up for a while, then, my brother.
Yeah. Why not? I was actually wondering because I know the event happened yesterday. I didn't get a chance to go by, but there was the Black Men's Health event that was happening in Durham, right? And I know again a few brothers that were involved in it, but I wasn't able to go to it. But definitely, I would love to hear more. And I'm just even thinking about that around, this time of year. Do we have any health goals that we want to walk into and transfer it into the new year? If there's anything that you may have or I might have, I can say first, right? I think.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Is there anything that you want to focus on?
And Jeff is being a warrior here. He's come back on. I think he's got a better connection here.
All right. Maybe it's got a satellite connection. Oh, that looks a lot better. I can tell you now, brother. I can see your connection's a lot better.
Frozen.
Yeah, it looks a lot better.
It does look like he's frozen again, though.
Or he's very still.
No, I don't see his eyes blinking. So, you know what? I'm going to make a suggestion. Send him a text message and tell him, hey, no, we can reschedule. I think that'd be the best because he's. Yeah, if you can send that now, that'd be great. And you were asking going to health goals. Well, I was doing doing some medical tests a little while back, and this doctor said, you know what, you've gained. He said, was it 10 years? I've gained 20 pounds in the last 10 years. He says, that's not too bad. I said, well, I'd like to lose those 20 pounds in the next 10 years, not gather them on. But in regards to health goals, I'm getting there. Certainly, this year's been a little. It's the last year, so a little bit of transition on, when I eat. So these days, if I'm having a heavy meal, I don't eat anything really heavy, unless it's a special event past 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I hear you.
I think Mr. Martin is back proper now.
Yeah. I'm using this cell phone. I don't know what's going on with the laptop, fellas. Listeners, I apologize.
No worries. The cell phone's looking a lot better. What we're saying though, we'll continue the interview, but we're gonna reschedule you and make sure that we do justice, meaning that a fuller interview and whatnot. But this looks clear. You sound clear. And we're gonna value the time that we have here. So what I was quickly saying is that I know you've had the opportunity to travel around the world and different communities, different provinces, different states, internationally. Is there any place or places that you found, interesting or something you want to reflect on? And maybe you learn something new being in that space, right? I know it's pretty wide, but yeah, are there any places that you want to share?
Yeah, that's a great question. Everywhere I go, I really try to, take in the scenery, and not just the scenery, but the people and the thinking. And, although it's still in Canada, one of my favorite places has become British Columbia,
Mm,
just because although it's in the same country, it is so different than Ontario.
sure.
BC is so different. Their major cities are so different than Toronto. But I would say that it's not even so much an impact of where I've gone, but it's been
Right.
more of an impact of the people that I've met.
Hmm.
And it's so interesting to talk to some of these young people, to be in high schools. And, one of the things that the Black community often doesn't speak about is suicide. Um,
Mm,
and I'm speaking to some of these young people, and I'm hearing that, some of them talking about they've been cutting, some of them talk about having dark thoughts, and some of the things that they've gone through and making attempts. And I'm like, man, like, we don't speak about this stuff enough. I
sure.
met a young man who was, again, in high school. So he was about 15 or 16 years old. And he told me by the age of 8, he was addicted to alcohol. By the
Mm,
age of 8, he was addicted to alcohol. This is what's happening in the community. This is what's happening with some of our young people. But again, we just don't talk about these things. We don't have these type of conversations. We don't realize the struggle some of our people are having. And
right.
so, being able to, again, connect with some of the people that I've got a chance to connect with has been, man, it's been such a game changer for me, a life changer for me, because it just, again, opens up my eyes to what people are truly going through, and realizing that the work is not done. There's so
Yeah.
much work that needs to be done.
So as a
Let
parent, so to follow that, as a parent, how do you encourage, and in particular, Black parents and and Black families, to encourage those conversations around self-harm, in particular when it comes to our young people, right? How do you encourage us parents to have those conversations?
I encourage them to do exactly that, to have the conversations, because a
Mm,
lot of times we are not having the conversations. And I promise you, if you make a choice to not have the conversations, whatever those conversations are with your children, they're having the conversations. They're just not having it with you. They're having it in the schoolyard. They're having it with their friends, or friends who don't have the right information to give to them, but they're having these conversations. So
right.
yeah, it is important for us to be able to continue to just have those doors open with our young people, let them know that we are open to conversation. And yeah, I get it. As when you have your own children, your children might find it weird and difficult to talk to their own parents about certain things. Then you know what? Make sure your children know that uncle's available, that auntie's available. There's a trusted adult that's available, that if they can't find it within them to speak to you about difficult situations as a parent, that at least they have someone that they can trust, and that you can trust, that they can go to. But it is important for us to continue having these conversations.
Shay, Shay. All right, Dr. Vibe.
Yeah, Jeff, you are on the front line when it comes to communication with the young people across this country. What is the missing? Okay, no, let me stop on that. You've been doing this for a while. Let me ask, what differences are you noticing in our youth pre-COVID versus post-COVID?
Hmm. The differences I'm seeing, I see now more than before the instability that some of our people are having. And when I say that, I mean mental instability. I'm talking about, anxiety, depression. I'm seeing more of that. I think COVID exposed that more than ever before with everybody, but we're seeing it more in our community. We're seeing the struggles within our community. What hasn't stopped is the distractions, right? We have
Mhm.
more distractions now, TikTok and Instagram, or whatever the case might be. Those things exist, in countless ways. And so when you add the distractions to the difficulties that already exist, you now have a community of people who aren't speaking, who aren't sharing, who are hiding themselves behind the videos. We have young girls who are putting themselves on TikTok, trying to gain likes and fame, so to speak, without realizing their own value and their own worth. They're putting that in the hands of other people. So I would say that has been exposed more now than pre-COVID. I think it already existed in high numbers.
Right.
When it comes to anxiety, depression, things of that nature. But I think COVID really, it really highlighted that within all communities, and then again within the Black community as well.
Sure. I could definitely see that in terms of some of the young people I interact with as well, and adults, right? Because we're anxious about an unsure future for a lot of young people, and I can see that for as well.
And sorry, let me say this as well. Although we just said COVID, it's not just COVID. It's the
Mhm.
whole George Floyd situation, the racial unrest, like that in itself
Right.
will cause a lot of instability as well. So I would say it's a combination of the two things that happened, somewhat 5 years ago that still are showing themselves now.
Right. 100%. So I also recognize that you're an author, and I think it's so important that I know that we're traditionally an oral people, and we do a lot of speaking, and thus, we have the show here and whatnot. But yeah, let us know a little bit about some of the things that you've done in terms of writing, and why it's important also, or for Black men to be in that space of writing, not just speaking.
Oh yeah, we got something to say.
Mm,
We have something to say. Dr. Vibe, you got something to say. Brother Sadai, you got something to say. We all have something to say.
right.
And, it's important that our voice does get out there because, as we know, commercial media doesn't do a great job at sharing our voices.
Mhm.
So we have to do our job. We have to do our part in getting our voices out there so they can be heard by our women. They can be heard by our young people. They can be heard by those who are yet to be on this planet. They can be heard by those who need to hear it.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's important for us to share our message and our voices. But it's so funny, being able to write my books, it has been in places that I haven't got a chance to be.
Mhm.
Years ago, I used to do a podcast, and that podcast was listened to in Japan. I had a review that came to me in Japanese. I'm like, I can't even, read this thing. And this was some years ago, so it was before the popularity of Google Translate. But somebody had to translate it for me because I'm like, I don't know what this says. But I say that to say, when we go beyond just speaking, when we go to the point of writing books, to writing blogs, to doing podcasts, to doing YouTube videos, whatever the case might be, you're now reaching corners of this world that you may never fly to, that you may never get to. So yeah, it is important to put our words down on paper, to put
Yep.
them in a script, whatever it is, movie wise, whatever creative side you have within you. Because yeah, it's going to reach someone who maybe is not big on watching YouTube videos, but they love reading books. Or maybe you're a podcaster and that's going to reach that person who's not big on watching movies. So when we can find different mediums to display the things that we have to say, I think you can reach more people.
It makes sense. It makes sense. And we're able to leave something that folks can pick up, or you never know who, like you said, it goes to places and spaces where we've never been ourselves. So that's pretty dope.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What, Jeff? What you do, people may or may not know, takes a lot of energy. How do you refill your cup?
Woo. that, that's a great question. It's so funny whenever I do speak, and sometimes schools are so full that they need to have me do the speech twice because they just can't get all the kids in the gym at the same time or the auditorium at the same time. But when I leave, I'm tired because I leave it all out there. And I do so because I recognize that there's somebody in the audience who needs to hear what I have to say at that moment, like
Mhm.
literally life and death. And I've had situations where I've learned that life and death situation. So I don't go out there and read a script. I don't go out there and perform. I go out there and I give it my all. And so, yeah, I definitely am tired, but I always find the energy to go and do it again and again and again, because again, I know it's not about me, it's about the message that's being shared. But how I pour into myself, man, as I get older, and you all were talking earlier about as you get older, there's some more emotions, and there's a little bit more crying and things of that nature. I'm realizing at this stage in my life the value. I've always known the value of family, but it is so clear to me now more than ever before, the value of family, to see my children grow.
Mhm.
Literally just before I came on here, my wife was playing a video of the kids when they were younger, and I'm looking at them and I'm looking at the TV, and I'm like, I can't believe that this was so long ago, but yet it seems like it was just yesterday. And so I realize the value of family even more now. I lost my mom in January. So all
Yeah.
of these things for
Condolences
me,
to that.
thank you. All these things for me are so true now than ever before, to pour back into yourself. And for me, that's being around the family, that's hanging around with the kids, as crazy as they can be, taking them to the sports, cracking jokes with them, whatever the case might be. But that's been, man, so important to me as of late, more than ever before. So
Yeah.
that's one of the ways I pour into myself.
Nice, nice, nice. And just thinking, you've done a lot. Like I said, you've been a speaker, a leader, an author. Is there anything that you have on the horizon, or anything you haven't done that you'd want to delve into in terms of your portfolio, your work, or just your passion altogether?
Yeah, I'm really right now. I'm actually working on another book. It is more for adults. It's about leadership, specifically empathetic leadership, seeing the value in someone, seeing, relating with somebody. That's more for like the corporate space. But I want to do some more of the corporate work. I want to do some more adult work. As much as I love the kids, I want to
Nice.
do some more of that, because I see there's a lot of value in that space as well. Um, and then, really start to build out programs from that, where I can do some deeper work with people. So I'm actually looking to create a youth program as well, but also create a program that's for adults, for professionals, a master class where we can meet, say, once a week or whatever the case might be, and go over some leadership pieces, and, bring in some amazing people like yourselves to share with them as well. So yeah, there's a few things in the works that I'm working on now, but
Right.
when it's all said and done, it's continuing just to go forward. There's lots of opportunities for all of us, and it's just continue to put these gifts into the world in effort of trying to make a difference.
Love it. Love it. Looking forward to that. Something for the adults as well. There you go.
Absolutely appreciate that.
I want to jump in with you on this one. In your opinion, what do schools get right and wrong about engaging Black and marginalized students?
That's a great question. What do they get right? There's a lot of schools now that are, and I would say again, as we just spoke about going back 5 years ago in regards to George Floyd, I think there's a lot of schools, and not just schools, but teachers, principals, who realize that a lot of our Black children were struggling or are struggling in a lot of different ways. So I'm seeing a lot of spaces that are opened up for them now. Some schools have rooms that are specifically geared to Black students, where they can just go and hang out. Like, they don't need to deal with the microaggressions in the school they've been dealing with all day long. They can go hide out in their room, and there's Black books on the wall that they can read. It's just a place for them just to be themselves. And I love that.
Right.
And there's a lot of pushback in some school boards. There's a lot of pushback. People are like, why do they have these rooms? Why is this allowed? They don't realize that, that equity measures are legal in Canada. You can create spaces like that in efforts to, for someone's safety and someone's well-being. So there is pushback, but what I'm seeing there is a lot of school boards are doing that right. They're giving these kids spaces. We don't have a lot in terms of percentages. We don't have a lot of Black teachers in Ontario, and even larger in Canada.
Right.
So sometimes the white teachers step into these spaces.
Right.
And I applaud them, because some of them are like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to navigate through this. I wish I really, could understand what they're going through. I'm like, listen, there's no Black teacher here, or even if there is a Black teacher, they're not willing to step up, but you decided to take that on. I applaud you. Keep going. Ask the kids what they need. So those are some of the things that are happening that's going right.
Right. Nice.
On the flip side, I would say that we still need more of those spaces. There's still a lot of schools and a lot of spaces where there are the gatekeepers. the gatekeepers are those who hold the keys, the ones who don't want to see change. And I still see a lot of those gatekeepers in the principal roles. I do see some of our people, Black folks, who are in some of these spaces, but are not taking the reins on running some of these things. I'm not here to pass judgment. I don't know what someone's been through. I don't know what stresses they're dealing with. But the truth is, some of us are just checked out, right? And they could be dealing with their own mental health or whatever the case might be. So as much as that's a good thing in the school, I would like to see more of that. More spaces for our kids to be themselves, to express themselves. When they have Black History Month events, you know, have someone guiding it, a teacher, an advisor, having them guide it, but let the kids run it. Let the kids take on leadership roles. We don't see enough of us in leadership. I've been out to some of the schools in, say, you know, let's say Scarborough, for example, where there's a high percentage of Black kids. And I've walked into the school to present at that time when they're doing the presidents and vice president and treasurer. And when you see those images on the wall, none of them are Black. No Black kid is running for president. No Black kid is running for vice president or treasurer. But yet it's a high percentage of Black students in the school. So we don't do enough leadership. We don't step into those spaces. We step into athletic spaces. We want to be on the basketball team, the football team, but we're not trying to be in the robotics team. We're not trying to be the leaders of the school. We're not trying to be in those spaces. So we need to see more of that. So I would say, yeah, more of our kids getting involved in leadership and extracurricular activities that are not just sport related.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I guess the other thing too, I'm just thinking about, even in that regards, in terms of mentoring, you know, what part of your journey involves mentoring, and how do we encourage, you know, Black folks, adults, to mentor some of the young people? Because sometimes the gap in leadership is you're not really seeing it, right? So like you said before, the challenge from not seeing maybe enough teachers, principals, administrators in positions of leadership. But for those that are in it, or, you know, you folks like you who are doing work out there, how do we encourage more mentors and more mentorship?
Yeah, you know, I think Dr. Vibe and I think, had this conversation some time ago, and I shared this story. I'll share it here, though. You know, some time ago, it was a number of years ago, going maybe even close to 10 years ago, I was doing an event, and I was in a suit and tie. And there's a kid that was there, a young Black king, he may be about 5 or 6 years old. And when I walked into the room, he was just staring at me, and his like mouth was open, his eyes were big, just staring at me. I'm like, "Hey, what's going on, little man?" You know, I kind of bigged him up and kind of, you know, kept it moving. And he just kept staring at me and staring at me. He followed me around the room, like with his eyes. And I'm like, okay, there's something going on here. And so I ended up speaking to his mom later on. And I'm like, okay, well, I see your son's, you know, he's clearly, I got his attention. What's going on? And she's like, oh, he's just never seen a positive Black male role model before.
Wow.
I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, his father's in jail. My brother, who should be a role model, is a drug dealer. My dad's not around. My son has never, ever seen a Black male role model.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. It blew my mind. And it told me, it reminded me, it let me know that you don't need to be a speaker. You don't need to run a podcast. You don't need to be an author. You don't need to run for president or prime minister. You can just be a regular Black dude living good, being the father that you can be, being the man. You just have to do your thing, and you will still be a mentor to some of our young people.
Love that.
You don't need a long resume. It doesn't ask for a lot. It really doesn't, because some of our kids just haven't seen someone in a positive way who looks like you. Our media is not showing it to them. Social media is not showing it to them. And so we can be that person. So whether you're working at that entry level position, whether you are the CEO of the company, you can be that role model for somebody. Let them know that they can strive, that they can overcome, that they can do whatever it is in this world that they want to do, by just staying focused and doing the things that got to be done. Any one of us can do it, and all of us, I believe, should be doing it.
I love it. I love that. I love that, because your presence matters, right? And I love that story, because it's true. You know, sometimes it's just being in the space as Black men, you know, in a positive way, that has, you know, a greater influence than that. Dr. Vibe, do you have a question?
I know we're coming up to the top of the hour, so I'm trying to decide what I can ask because there's so much stuff that I want to ask, but okay, Jeff, I want you to finish this sentence. If the Black community had this one resource, everything would change.
Just one?
Listen, Dr. Vibe don't make it easy. I'm warning you, eh? He doesn't make it easy.
Just one. Oh my gosh, man, that's so difficult because there's a part of me that wants to say financial empowerment. There's a part of me that wants to say mentoring. There's a part of me that wants to say, like, there's so many pieces that we need. It's difficult to say the one. I think if I had to say one, I would go back to mentorship that we're speaking about today. I would go back to mentorship. Again, another quick story. I was speaking at a school some years ago. It was an elementary school. And when I was done, there was a number of girls who came up to me, all grade 8, who all came up to me and they started hugging me and hugging me. It had to be about 10 girls. And they were hugging me. I'm like, okay, what's going on, ladies? What's happening? It was getting a little awkward because it was a long hug. And then the teacher came over and he was like, okay, ladies, go back to school, go back to class. And after they left, that teacher said to me, Jeff, those are some of the most toughest girls in our school. And they don't listen to anybody, but somehow you got them to listen to you. And then he said to me, out of all those girls who came to you, not one of them has a father at home. Not one. Not one. And so again, when I talked about earlier about just simply being in that space before I even opened my lips, I made an impact just being in that space. So I would say if there's one thing that we can give to our community, if I can start there, it would be mentorship, because with mentorship will come the financial empowerment. With mentorship will come, lifting up someone's self-esteem. With mentorship comes so many things. So I would say mentorship would be the key thing that I would give if I can only give one thing to our community.
Okay, Paul. Kofi, do I have a permission to ask one more quick thing?
You always do, brother. It's up to you. Go ahead.
Okay, no. Okay, so let me ask you, Jeff. What's a belief you've changed your mind about in the last year, since we're coming up to the end of the year?
Wow. One of the beliefs that I've really taken on, and I would say it's just really grown within me, is just giving grace. That's giving myself grace. That's giving grace to the people around me. That one family member who always acts up? We all got them. We all got that one person in that family, who just loses their mind for no reason, fights with everybody. Give that person grace. We don't know how heavy the battle is that they're fighting, that people are fighting. We just don't know. Listen, I'm knocking on my 50s. I'm getting close to 50s. Some people would call me an old man. My kids call me an unk, is what they say.
They do the same over here, bro. They calling me unk. I'm like, what?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Listen, I'm no longer that young cat. The other day I'm driving and these guys, man, they got upset and it was like a road rage situation. And I'm like, I can't believe at this age I'm at now. I'm no longer in my 20s, man. In my 20s, it might be a little different. But these guys trying to cut me off. I'm like, what's going on here? And in that moment, I had to give them grace. Where 20-year-old Jeff would have chased after them. You know what I mean? So 20-year-old Jeff would be a little bit different. But I had to give them grace because I'm like, as angry as they are and as angry as they're making me, I don't know what they're going through.
True.
And clearly for me to get you that upset, that you're behind the wheel, that you want to follow me, clearly there's something else going on that doesn't have anything to do with me. So I would say grace is so important. Give myself patience and grace. Give people around you grace. We just don't know what someone is going through.
Love it. Love it.
Well, I think we'll probably stop it there because we'll have to do a deeper dive next time when the internet is good. Just for everybody, I want to just share again Jeff's website for you. It's in your comment section on most of the platforms you're watching this live on replay. But here's a look of his website. So as you know, there is his website. If you want to get in touch with him, there's a number of different, it's right on the screen. Easy peasy, right on the screen. It's all there. And again, it's been copied to all the comment sections on other platforms. One last conversation. What was the reason you started wearing the t-shirt blessed. What's the story behind that?
Well, you know what? As you say that, I got on. It's hard to see now, maybe, but I have on the inspired hoodie right now. And so, yeah, I do have the blessed T-shirt. I have this inspired hoodie and T-shirts as well. And I do it because I want someone to hear my voice before I enter the room. Before I open my mouth, I want you to know who I am and what I stand for. It's easy for me to put on a Nike shirt and to put on a, whatever, name brand or logo, but I want to represent who I truly am. I want to represent who my parents grew me to be. I want to represent who I need to be for our community and in our community. And so, yeah, when I walk in the room, before I open my mouth, I want you to know that you are blessed when you read my shirt. I want you to know that you can be inspired like this hoodie I got on now. It speaks volumes when you can, again, let somebody know who you are before you open your mouth. And that's why I wear these shirts, because I just want to remind people of their own value as well.
Shay, listen, we don't mind getting into a little bit of overtime. I know I'm always the one that has to run, but I also have another question for you. Right? As a a person who says you're getting up there, you're in a position to obviously teach what you know and share your life lessons. You're a father, you're a husband. Legacy. What would you like your legacy to be?
Man, that is so powerful. I've always said, so this is something I've been really contemplating since the loss of my mother. When you go to the beach, and oftentimes we go to the beach, if you go with your family, you write your name in the sand.
Right.
And, you write, the Martin family or just married or whatever it is, why you're there.
Right.
And when you write your name in the sand, you got to take a picture of it right away. You see it on social media, people taking pictures, they put it up there, but you have to take a picture of it right away. Why is that? Because you write your name in the sand in a spot where the tide comes up and washes it away within moments.
Right.
And so the tide washes it away and there's no evidence. There's no trace of you ever being there.
Right.
And so I think to myself, how many people wrote their name in the sand maybe 2 minutes before me? Maybe 2 years before me, 200 years. How many people were standing in the exact same spot that I was 200 years before me and wrote their name in the sand? But because the water came and washed it all away, there's no evidence, no trace of them ever being there. And so when I look at that analogy, I think to myself, we don't write our name in the sand to be remembered. We write our name in the sand so our contributions to this planet will never be forgotten. We don't write our name in the sand to be remembered. We write our name in the sand so our contributions to this planet will never be forgotten. It's about our contributions to this planet. If I can win a Grammy or Juno, if I can be in that starring movie or make a starring song like Drake, then that's fabulous. That's wonderful. But the truth is that even all of those people will be forgotten. All of them, all of us will be forgotten. There was a podcast that was done before this one here. We don't know their names.
Yeah.
Right? We come and we go. But when we can do something while we're here, when we can write that book, when we can create that podcast, when we can leave a powerful word or message with somebody, that in itself can live a lifetime. That in itself can live beyond our lifetime. Because if I pour into somebody and that person becomes a better person because of it, they get married, have children, their children are a little bit better because of it. They have children, their grandchildren are a little bit better because of it. It started with me pouring into that person. And so I was able to help to change somebody's bloodline 3, 4, 5 generations because I was able to pour into them today. It's not about having my name in lights. It's about leaving the things behind that I can leave while I'm still here. And so when I think about legacy, it's not about awards and accolades. And if I get them, I appreciate them. But it really is about trying to leave something behind that somebody else can build off of. I say all the time, my children, my ceiling is their floor. And so where I stop is where they begin. But it's not just my children, it's those who I mentor, it's those who I help, it's those who I'm able to pour into. If they can build on top of that and they pour into their children and their children and their children, then I believe that is my legacy. For me, it's not my name in lights. It's about letting the world know I was here in my own special way.
Shay, and you were here, my brother. Your words will resonate, right?
Appreciate it so much.
That is a perfect way to end part 1.
Part 1. You got to come back, brother. You got to come back.
Yeah, again, I apologize. Apologize to everybody in regards to my internet.
No
It's
worries.
okay, no worries. Well, Jeff, want to say, excuse me, want to bless you, your family, and I know the loss of your mother was hard, and it should be hard because she was a great woman. And I know that you are doing whatever you can to carry on her legacy, not only in you, but through you.
Sure.
Right? So I believe that she was a success. And I always say every success has a successor. You're the successor for her, and your children will be your successor.
Shay.
Yeah.
I want to leave you those words. If
Thank you.
you want to, we want to dedicate this conversation today to Jeff's mother and the wonderful legacy that she has given Jeff to carry on through hundreds of people around the world. So thank you so much. There's Jeff's website, jeffmartin.com, email info@jeffadmartin.com, social media, everywhere, Jeff A.D. Martin, everywhere. If you want to get a hold of Kofi Sadat, nazarjam@gmail.com, Instagram, Maroon, I love it, YouTube, there's a community, Facebook, Paul Osbourne .31. Mr. Morris, who's not with us, email getwellstayfit@gmail.com, Instagram @KofiCoach_, and Cosmic Wellness Group. He has two of them, Instagram things, and Kofi Coach on Facebook. For myself, we just make it nice and easy. Nice and easy does it. Top link .cc/Dr. Vibe Show. And always, you can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, the Dr. Vibe Show website, and Paul Osbourne on Facebook. That's how we close it off. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And as I always say too, remember to give yourself grace. See, grace came up in this conversation today. And also, if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both and make it better. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith. Walk good, and we'll catch you soon. Thanks again, Jeff. Be well and keep the faith.
Time with our parents, they're like, I have nothing to teach you. I don't know nothing. And
My dad's at that point now. It says,
That's my point.
But I'm saying, no, Dad, you got lots more to give. You know how cold it is when these two brothers in their yard.
You know that. You know that. You don't know that, bro. You know
No
that.
joke.
I know we all have these things, but you know what? My go-to is this thing.
Wow.
Black book. It's in the black.
Black Men Talk, Black Book.